Thank you so much, Amy. I truly appreciate it, and I appreciate our GMA members being on the call today. Thank you so much. I've looked at our list and see that we've got members from all areas of Georgia, so thank you. From southeast to northwest, and cities of all sizes. So we're going to go ahead and start. I realize that I stand between you and lunchtime, so I want to be very cognizant of your time and make sure that we're meeting your needs. So I'll present about Bright City, and then at the end we'll have some time for questions and answers. So this is truly just a conversation between us. As Amy mentioned, please type in your questions. If we see them in advance and can address them right there and then, we will. And so let's go ahead and get started. One of the things, why your city needs Bright City, as Amy mentioned, the way people are choosing to communicate is definitely changing. Whether you like it or not, things are changing. And what Bright City offers cities and its citizens is an all-in-one engagement app that's mobile, that's on duty 24/7, that's customizable to your city, and allows leadership and staff to be proactive, not just reactive. This is the way of the future because it's so very convenient and responsive, sharing information that's important for you and your citizens immediately and targeted to where they are almost all the time. Because if you think about it, I'll bet you as you're sitting in this webinar, your mobile device, whether it's a phone or tablet, is to your right or left within arm's reach. So some of the things about Bright City and what makes it brighter and different from other apps and communication tools that are out there is first and foremost that it's direct and it's two ways, meaning that you can push notifications and announcements to your citizens and that those citizens can respond back to you directly or whichever department is sending out that message. It's specific and targeted. It avoids the clutter as well as the mass exposure of social media so that you're talking directly to those citizens that need that information, and when they respond back to you, it's to you and not to 100 or 1,000 other people that may not be interested in the message or may take the message the incorrect way. It's fast and accurate. The exact location and images can be shared from citizen to the city using GPS, video, and picture functionality. Thus, descriptions are on target. They aren't confused by any language barriers that may be out there, nor just poor descriptions. Is that person really 6 foot or are they 5'6"? And then it expands the eyes and ears of your local law enforcement and neighborhood watch program. We all know that our cities have limited budgets when it comes to law enforcement, and having those extra eyes and ears increases that connectivity throughout your city and is a true benefit to your community. As we go to the features of Bright City, the first one is the overall news feed, and that's a conglomerate of all the messages from your departments and administrators of what's going on in your community. So what it's going to do is that's that important and pertinent information that is shared among citizens in a timely and direct manner. Within moments of a decision, an alert, a media event, a city can issue notices and information to its citizens that reaches the community in seconds, again, right where they are. It avoids messages getting lost in the clutter of pop culture or friends or family with social media feeds. This gets the information important to your community into the hands of your citizens at the right time and with the right message, not interpreted by a third party that may not have the same goals and objectives as your city. And there's, as I mentioned, no third party interpretations. It's your message direct to your citizens. Another feature that's important is the fact that it allows, the maintenance feature. It allows residents and business owners to report infrastructure issues such as leaking fire hydrants, downed trees, potholes, vandalism, illegal dumping, and other dangerous or inappropriate issues directly to you. Again, that's part of the eyes and ears of the community, sharing information that they see because you can't be in every part of your city at every moment. In return, the city can make announcements such as road closures or boiled water alerts and respond to maintenance issues once they've been addressed or the project status has changed. That way you're keeping your citizens up to date when it's most important to them. Take, for example, that road closure. They want to know if it's closing at 9, that it's truly closing at 9. And if you get done with your project earlier and it's not a full day closure, if you can announce at 3 o'clock that it's open, that's a huge benefit, especially if it's a major thoroughfare that those citizens use on a regular basis. They don't have to wait or divert till 5 o'clock. They're able to use it when you open it. And the way to get that message to them is immediately with that mobile device that's specifically with them almost all the time. Routes, and when these requests come through, as you see here, we've got road repairs, fallen trees, construction vulnerabilities, graffiti, vandalism. Those are all maintenance issues that a city has to deal with, but in multiple cities, they're not all handled by one single person. Bright City allows you to route that issue to the right staff member in the proper department. We all know if there's a garbage issue, that's probably going to go to your sanitation issue. That issue doesn't need to go to the person who may handle graffiti or vandalism or road repair or fallen trees. When we set up the Bright City customization for your specific city, we'll sit down with you directly and make sure that that's routed to the direct person who can respond most efficiently to that one issue. And one thing to keep in mind, and it's totally at the option of the city, is whether or not you want maintenance issues, or as you'll see, citizen alert issues, to be reported anonymously, or if you require that the reporter shares their user registration information. That's totally up to the city. There's pros and cons of both, and we leave it up to the city. It can change 1 year down the road. It can change 6 years down the road. That's the benefit of Bright City. It's 100% customizable to your city and your city's needs. As mentioned in the citizen, or in the maintenance functionality, issues can be reported anonymously. This is one area where you may want it more so than a maintenance issue. It's the citizen alert issue. If they see a suspicious activity, they can take a picture of it. They can GPS code immediately just with taking that picture and sending it. You know where that suspicious activity is taking place. But in addition, the city can be proactive and send out alerts that are important to your community. Again, whether the community is the whole city or subsections of that city. The benefit of Bright City is that it can be, you can have the overall city area, or you can have wards that are defined by your police district. You can have messages that are defined by other routes, whether it's a garbage route or zip code or council member. We can define it and really get down to the granular level so that you're targeting the people that you need. But other citizen alert issues that you may have would be a missing person. If you want your community to help you look for that elderly lady or gentleman who may have dementia or Alzheimer's, they're out there. They know to look for this person and have a description. You can post a picture and they're right there. They know what they're looking for. We have a feed into the National Weather Alert System so that if there is a tornado issue, a fire, or other big catastrophic type weather alert that would come from the National Weather System, we feed into that. And then of course, if you've got a more local alert that you wish to share, you can put it out that way. If there's scam alerts, unfortunately now with how much we rely on IT as we're doing it today, we hear about, and you as a city hear about, certain IT scam alerts, email alerts that are taking advantage of our citizens. You can put that message out to them immediately, and I assure you, your citizens will find that to be a huge benefit, and they'll be very grateful for that information. And now it's not getting lost in the feed of 100 different Facebooks or Instagrams. It's coming direct so that they know that you've probably checked it out and that it's a true viable scam because they trust the government. And this tool allows you to share that trust and build it among your city and your citizens. When we look at the next feature, when we were building out Bright City, one of our cities said, you know what, we don't have our own personal department, police department. We contract with their county. But one thing that we really care about is promoting the benefits and the positive things that are happening within our city. And while we may not have the same issues in regards to suspicious activity and citizen alerts that a local police department may have, we've got an amphitheater, we've got a arts and performing arts center, and we really want to push the positive events that we're doing in our community. So we built out for not just that city, but all cities, the fact that we've got events and ticketing information. It's helping to make our cities more fun and active for our citizens too. It helps promote city-sponsored events throughout the community with just the tap of a finger. Cities can push event marketing dollars that are scarce because it's a revenue-generating source if you're selling tickets, and then you're getting it immediately through credit card payments. And to shout out to citizens exactly what's happening in their community, how to purchase tickets, how to reserve a venue, and register for the event, or simply just attend and enjoy. It's truly up to you whether you want it to be a reservation only, no reservation, or if you actually want to sell tickets. And then secondly, Bright City grants cities the option to sell those tickets right from the app with potentially lower processing fees than what you're paying now and more direct revenue. They receive one-stop shopping and the city earns revenue, so it's a win-win for everybody. Bright City is helping make bill paying less of a hassle for everyone. You all want your money faster, and your citizens want to be able to pay their payments easily. Whether the payment is water, electricity, solid waste, traffic and parking citations, business license, property taxes, court fees, there are any number of other payments that can be made very quickly and direct through the app. We all know that apps have to be functional. They're different from websites because of the fact that people want to get on and do their task very quickly and easily. Once someone registers within their Bright City registration onboarding process, their information's there. They've got their name, they've got their address, they've got their telephone number, they have their email, so you're seeing that right away. It's nothing that they have to re-enter over and over again. And with the payment functionality, whether it's for a utility or citation payment, or whether it's for an event ticket, they have the option to save their credit card information so that it populates each time they wish to pay. That's totally up to the citizen if they wish to save it or not, or to enter a new credit card for payment. And one of the things that we want you to know is we partner with a company called Braintree, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of PayPal, so that you know that you've got the security of PayPal behind these payments. All the credit card information is saved with Braintree, not with Bright City, not with your city, so you are secure from any kind of liability associated with those credit card payments. The Property Watch functionality associated with Bright City is used by some cities, depending on whether or not you currently or wish to offer property watches in your community. They're for those residents and business owners who choose to register that they will be out of town for a specific amount of time with their city. Instead of completing and mailing or hand delivering a web-based or hard copy form to the police department, Bright City makes this request process so much easier and quicker with the auto population of users' address and contact information, and a simple to tap calendar schedule of departure and return dates. Other information that can be uploaded is emergency contact numbers, who your alarm system may be with, if you have pets in the family, what cars are left at the household. You can enter any number of data points that are important to you as a citizen, but what's most important to the police is that they know when something's happening. And the beauty of the Property Watch is that when that police officer goes by that home or that business, they can respond directly at that moment to that citizen that, hey, we just went by, your house looks great, it's 2:57 p.m. on Tuesday, January 17th in the past. And it again builds that communication and that trust, so that citizen knows, you know what, that property watch actually did happen. I've got a message from the officer, and that citizen could reply back saying, thank you so much, this helps me enjoy my vacation so much better. And if there is a concern that that officer has, they've got the contact information right there and then to call that homeowner saying, hey, we noticed that there's a car in the driveway that's not registered. Is it okay that this green Pontiac is parked in the driveway? Again, it builds that trust and it makes that citizen realize that that city is truly watching out for him or her. The City Connect functionality is truly how we're streamlining the process of citizens and businesses reaching the people in your city that's most important to them. Our city clerks, our receptionists are extremely busy, and if there's a way that a citizen can get to the right person that can more proactively answer their question in a quicker manner, we all know that's what our citizens are asking for. They want us to be quick, and they want to have the right information right away. It's very demanding upon our city staff to be able to provide that, and with the City Connect feature, we can direct dial who you put in for what you want that message to be. If it's a accounting issue and they want the right person in accounting, they just tap accounting. It can be one number for the whole department, or you can have a tree underneath specifically identifying who that is. Public Works is probably a better example. You have multiple sub-departments within Public Works. Again, whether it's Parks and Recreation that may be there, whether it's Water and Sewer, whether it's garbage, whether it's roads and bridges. If I've got a garbage issue, I don't want to bother anybody else in any of those other departments. And I don't want to have to go through 3 different messages or phone trees or transfers to get to the right person. City Connect helps me get to that right person right away, and I can either do it by phone or I can do it by email, and it's getting to that person. Now, some cities have different facilities that they allow for their citizens to reserve, whether it's meeting rooms, whether it's a park and recreation space, whether it's ball fields and athletic facilities and other common areas. Currently, they may be calling up somebody. They may having to download a form and then send it over or mail it over with payments. What you can do with Bright Cities is truly on their mobile device when they're thinking about it, whether that's 8 p.m. after a HOA meeting and they said, you know what, I don't want to host this in my personal home anymore. I'd rather do it at a meeting room in the city's library. That'd be much more functional and easier to do. They can reserve it right there for the dates that are coming up. There's lots of information that's shared right on the app, whether it's the size of the room, what the amount it can take, the operating hours, if there's a reservation fee, all that is shared as we set up what rooms or facilities are available. And then if there is a fee associated with it, they can reserve it and pay for it right then and there. Again, making it more direct, easier, and when that information comes back to the city, you've got all their contact information. You're not having to chase it down. You're not having to chase down payment. They do it right then and there when it's important to them to get it done, and you can schedule it in your back-end software system at that time. Other features include open records requests. Sometimes this is seen as a benefit, sometimes it's not. This is an email open records request that again goes to the appropriate person in the appropriate department. Certain cities, choose to have all open requests go to one person. Others choose to have those open requests go to the appropriate person in the departments. We set up the account so that depending on how your city works, it's getting to the right person at the right time. It maintains a back-end summary of all requests and actually all activity that's done on the Bright City, because we all know that you are open to sunshine rules or FOIA requests. So all the information that's done on the app is secure and shared with the city on a monthly basis so that you've got that backup for when there is a need to look back or there is a FOIA for that issue. Now, Property Lockbox, this is the one feature of Bright City that is a standalone feature that any citizen in any place can download. But it's also part of the subscription that when a city joins and subscribes to Bright City, they have this functionality as well for all of their citizens, whether it's a business or an individual. What Property Lockbox is, it's a personal inventory system. So if you think about it, when was the last time you went around your household and recorded the things that are most valuable to you, whether it's electronics, jewelry, cars? My favorite personally are my pets, bicycles, any number of items that you would truly want to have inventoried in case there was a really terrible event like a household fire, or if you were broken into and you needed to report that item to the police. Where Property Lockbox works with our subscriber cities and counties is that the information in a personal lockbox is only shared if that citizen or business choose to report something as stolen to that police department. So if I have a bicycle, which I've had a case where a bicycle was stolen, and I had it in my lockbox, I would have the picture, and I could report just at a tap of a finger to my local police department that that bicycle was stolen. Now, if I did my due diligence and included a serial number and a picture of my invoice, which is all uploadable to Property Lockbox, all that would be there immediately when I shared it with the police. Now, this is not a police report, but that police officer who would receive this now has all the correct information and data up front to pre-populate their police report and finalize it with the person who has the stolen property. Again, expediting the sharing of information and the accuracy of the information. Because what one police officer may call olive green, another one may call sea green or just green. And we all know there's lots of nuances to color, to size, to variables, that a picture truly does speak 1,000 words. And that's where this is so beneficial to our local police departments and to our citizens that they have. Links. What the link functionality is, as we all know, an app is not a website, and it won't take the place of a website. Apps are built, like Bright City, to be functional to the vast majority of your community that will be using it. It's to get the business that they need to do with your city done quickly and efficiently. But there's lots of information that a city needs to share. For example, cities and counties have ordinances galore. This will not say I need to look up ordinance 405.27 because most citizens don't need that functionality. However, we can link to your listing of ordinances. They can see it on their mobile device, but again, it's not going to be a lookup feature for one specific ordinance. Other things that you may choose to link to include athletic department websites or schedules. If you've got a community development or cultural center, what those schedules of events may be. And then other city website pages that maybe aren't the highest requested items that you have. The idea of the app is that it's performing that functionality that the majority of your citizens need to do very quickly and efficiently. But the link functionality, again, gives you that backup that they can get the information that they need, but it may just not be the most popular information. But again, we want to give them access to it. Surveys. We built in this functionality, again, in listening to other cities and local governments say, you know what, I don't want to always have to go to a third party to do my surveys, but I really want to get good, immediate feedback from my citizenship. So we built the survey functionality right within the Bright City app. It's got the features that you would want, whether it's drop-down menus, whether it's multiple choice menus, whether it's text fields if you wanted to get a little bit more data about, let's just say there's been a vacant lot out there and there's a lot of comments about what do we do with this space that's available. Well, the nice thing is through Bright City you can get immediate feedback within 48, 72 hours, however, whatever length you want that survey to be, without having to do direct mail campaigns, without having to promote, please go to my website, download this, then email it. They truly do it right there on their phone when they're thinking about immediately upon receiving the survey from a text notification that the city sends out. They can respond later, but as we all know, if it gets too far down in an inbox or if it gets too far down on your Facebook feed, you're not going to forget about it. You are going to forget about it and not respond. Here, it's right then, ready for them to respond, and you get your information back very, very quickly. As I mentioned, one of my features in my Property Lockbox are my pets. I happen to have, I travel a lot, so I don't have a dog, even though I'd love one. But I do have 2 cats and I have a horse, so that I board. Obviously not at home if I'm traveling. But we had talked to some cities and they said one of their most requested aspects that they got to post on their city website was, I've lost my cat, I've lost my dog, I've lost my guinea pig, whatever the pet may be. Can you please help me help find my pet. And we realized that city communication staffs in particular that are running their websites may not have the functionality, the time, the bandwidth to report and help out with those cases. But through the app, that owner can upload through their property lockbox that they have lost their pet. And if you partner quite often with a humane society or No More Harmless Pets type nonprofit agency, as long as we have their approval, we can share that information so that it's not necessarily going to a city department like Public Works or city administration, that it's going to the organization or department that's going to most help them. Again, whether it's the Humane Society as a third party, or if you have an animal shelter that the city runs, it would go to the person directly there. And then we would have a site where we host what those lost pets are and a way to contact that owner if there's another person in the community who happens to see that dog walking around looking for its owner, and we can help reconnect and make that family whole again. Now, we all know we're dealing with IT, and questions always come up about security. Security is extremely important to Bright City, as we know it's certainly important to you. As mentioned, we download all of our data and give it to our city clients on a monthly basis so that you've got backup. But in our case, how we deal with security is first and foremost, we want you to know that Bright City works across all mobile and web-based platforms. I know certain comments have been made to me. We have an older citizenship. They don't carry a phone. They don't carry a tablet. But many of them, you'd be surprised, do have Facebook and other social media accounts. They have, they are on their computers. This Bright City works just as well on a desktop as it does on a mobile device. It just really depends what system you're most comfortable with. So the excuse that we've got an older community really doesn't fly, because you still need to get information out to them, and so they're getting it on their desktops as well as other users are getting it on their mobile devices that they may be carrying around. All shared communication data is encrypted. That means when we're sharing or when we're transferring between a city and Bright City information about a user's address, phone number, email, when we're sharing with Braintree credit card information, all that is an encrypted database point. So even when we download it, it looks like the wonderful term gobbledygook. We can't read it, but luckily the computers can, and that's accurate data because we know that's important. We have secured access to our APIs to prevent unauthorized access. That's when we're sharing data again with Braintree and other third parties. A lot of cities have a back-end CAD system called CityWorks, and there's many other ones. We can build out custom APIs so that the information that's coming through on a maintenance request automatically feeds into programs like CityWorks and other organizations, whether it's a financial payment. These are custom APIs that we would build between Bright City and your software system. So that's not included the overall subscription price, but that API is available, and please know that that is secure so that that data is protected. As mentioned, no data appears in plain text. We do backup every 24 hours on multiple remote servers. We are a cloud-based system. Our company that we work with is a nationally known company called Rackspace, where we've got multiple backup systems that we use so that you know that your data is protected. Even if they have an outage in one of their locations, it's saved on other cloud-based servers that are managed and maintained by Rackspace. And then also another data point that we know is important to you as well as to us, we don't sell the data that we collect from your citizens to any other third party. That's your data that you own. So please know it's not going to Amazon, to Target, to any organization like that. That's your data that you own, and we use it only to allow you and your citizens to communicate. Okay. What there is, believe it or not, there's two apps. There's the citizen-facing app, Bright City, and then there's the agency or local government app. For you all, your staff will be using the agency or government app, and that has greater functionality in regards to reporting features. We've got built-in analytic reports so that at the touch of a button, you can determine, how many maintenance requests do you have out there? Are they about, what subject matter are they about? How quickly is your team responding to that? Because we all know we're all measured by how well we are servicing our customers, and that's what this is all about. This is about customer service, and that's why this app is out there, because our customers are demanding that we do business with them in a different way, and we know that you need to measure how effective you are with doing it. So just know that your staff and your police officers are working off of the agency local government app, whereas the citizen-facing app, and they're both called Bright Cities, but there's just two slightly different variations to it, and how you would utilize them. Okay, we also mentioned that Bright City is web friendly. And how it works is we are a subscription-based license. So if a city chooses to come on board with Bright City, what it is we own the actual code to it, you own the data, and you subscribe to us usually in a multi-year contract that can be paid in one-time payments or in quarterly payments, and the price is based on your population. I know we have cities of all sizes here on the call. There is floor pricing, which starts at $5,000 a year, and then as your population increases, that rate would increase. We do currently have an early adopter promotion that we are putting out to our cities to get you engaged in this new technology. Many cities are saying, well, who's on board? I'll be the first to say that Bright City is a new technology. We are onboarding our first city. It's the city of Malden in South Carolina. It's a city the size of 25,000 residents, and we are building that out. They will go live at the end of March. We're going through the onboarding process. We're customizing the app to them. So we're asking for our cities to really invest in us and to invest in the new technology, and in exchange we're giving basically a 50% discount for that early adopter technology. So for you all who are on the call, there's not one set rate, because as I said, it's based on population, but I'm happy to discuss with you what early adopter promotion we can do for your city, your size, and how quickly we can turn that onboarding process into your best, most efficient communication tool for your citizenship. So at that time, I know we have some questions in the queue. Amy, if you don't mind reading them.
First, we have a question about, does the app for staff handle the ticketing system, or is it interfacing with other systems already being used?
Yep. Okay. Currently, the ticketing system, it generates a notification and a report to your specific staff member who manages your facility reservations for you. As mentioned, I know that the city of Malden is researching back-end CAD-like software, so that the goal would be that the reservations that come in through Bright City then go through a separate customized API to feed into that back-end CAD software that would do the full registration. So right now it's going to the staff member to maybe block out their calendar, because we realize that not all cities may have the same advanced sophistication in regards to certain CAD back-end software systems. We have the ability to build out that integration, but currently it's going to the staff member who would manage it, and then that staff member would input in any additional systems they may have at this time.
And how do you populate the app with users you plan on sending information to? Does it integrate with social media, or citizens have to manually be added?
Nope. It's really two questions. We do integrate with social media, so that if a staff member wants to post something, they want to put it out through the Bright City app, which again, like we're branding it in our city of Malden, it's called Malden Mobile. That's what they've chosen to name their app. Bright City is how we're marketing it to you. Again, I just want to stress that this is 100% customizable. I don't care if your citizens know anything about Bright City as a company and as an app. What I want them to care about is, I need to be able to communicate with my city. This is my go-to resource for my city's information. whether it's security information, whether it's events, whether it's facility reservations, whatever the case may be. This is my one go-to place. So we do interact with social media. So once you populate it and push it out through the Bright City app, if you choose, we can turn on the functionality that it populates your social media feeds as well. Again, one-stop shopping. You don't have to then go and post it on Facebook, on Instagram, and the other various medias that are out there for social media. And then the other question was,
do citizens have to manually add it?
Okay, yes, how it works is once a city subscribes to Bright City, it's unlimited downloads. So let's take that family of 5. If I live within the city limits of Great City, USA, okay, and we build that shapefile that says these are all the addresses that are within this city that's subscribing to Bright City. If that family of 5 wishes to download 5 on 5 different devices because they've got 2 parents and 3 kids of teenage or older age, they can have unlimited downloads. It costs your citizens nothing to download, okay? I'm not saying it's free. We all know nothing's free in this world. The city is paying through its license to Bright City, but again, if you annex an area under your current agreement with Bright City and you bring in 500 additional residential units or businesses, that's all included under your current contract. So they're not paying for anything. The way that a citizen or a business would download the app, they would go to whether it's the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store, just like they would download any other app, whether it's Pandora, mapping, anything like that. They go, they hit whatever you're branding it. In Malden, it's Malden Mobile, so they'll see an app for that. They hit download, they get it free, and anytime there's an update, it'll show up in its update feeds, just like any app that you have. They can update it right there, because as a subscription-based app software, when we make an improvement or a change, it's across all of our subscribers. So if we've got a new functionality that's really incredible and awesome, for example, we're in the process of building out polygons, which was a new word to me, but in working with our IT team and our president, Frank Connor, who this is really his baby, if we're looking at a map of your city and you want to send out a message just to a very specific neighborhood because there is a road closure or because there is a water main break, in the near future, it's not out there now, you can actually go on your screen, draw a circle around that area through Bright City, and that messaging would go to there. Once we have that, that technology exists in the world. Right. We're building it into Bright City. Once we have that, that's not an upgrade that your city as a current subscriber would need to pay for. You would get it automatically. So then you would just update your app once it's viable, and that functionality is there for you on the agency local government app. Your citizens won't have that functionality on their app because we don't want them, again, they're not talking to everybody in that little polygon circle, but you certainly may have. Because another example of that would be in the geo-targeting and the ability to really zero in on those addresses that you want to message to is the fact if, let's just say there is a suspicious activity. You may not want your whole city to be alerted to a suspicious activity because it doesn't impact them. Everybody kind of gets message overload, but there may be, within a 3-mile area that a person on foot could likely get around before your police officers could get there and check out the situation. You may want to notify them. And again, we can make those subcategories not solely just on zip code, but on police wards, city council member districts, so many variable customized ways to communicate, again, when you need to communicate with them, not necessarily when they're just logging on to their social media accounts or looking at their email.